mind to register an oath that I'll never have my hair cut again. When I was particularly emphatic in my instructions to the hairdresser only to cut the ends off, he must have thought I meant the other ends. Never mind. Shan't meet anyone to care about so early. 8 o'clock. I declare I haven't a moment to lose. Fate has placed me with the most punctual, particular, and peremptory of hatters. And I must fulfill my destiny. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Good morning, Colonel Cox. I hope you slept comfortably, Colonel.
I can't say that I did, B. I should feel obliged to you if you could accommodate me with a more protuberant bolster, B. The one I've got now seems to have about a handful and a half of feathers at each end, and nothing whatever in the middle.
Oh, anything to accommodate you, Captain Cox.
Thank you. Then perhaps you'll be good enough to hold this glass while I finish my toilet.
Oh, certainly. Oh, why, I do declare you've had your hair cut.
Cut? It strikes me I've had it mowed. It's very kind of you to mention it, but I'm sufficiently conscious of the absurdity of my personal appearance already. I look as if I'd been cropped for the militia.
The militia? I recollect when I was in the militia.
And now he's off on his hobby.
Yes, we were mounted on chargers. I recollect upon one occasion being seated firmly in my saddle for 8 hours. And I don't recollect being able to sit down again firmly for a considerable period afterwards. Yes, in those merry days. Yes, in those brilliant days. We gathered our laurels and rode on our bays. We gathered our laurels and rode on our bays. I mounted a horse in Her Majesty's force as one of the yeomen who'd meet with the foemen for then an invasion threatened the nation. And every man in the rear or the van found an occasion. And every man in the rear or the van found an occasion to sing. Rataplan, 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 plan, 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 rataplan, trumpet, we beat the drum. Somehow the enemy didn't come. So I gave up my horse in Her Majesty's force, for there wasn't a foeman to meet with the yeoman, and so no invasion threatened the nation. There wasn't a man in the rear or the van who found an occasion. There wasn't a man in the rear or the van found an occasion to sing. Rataplan, 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 plan, 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 rataplan, plan, plan, rataplan,
Well, this is pleasant. This comes of having one's hair cut. None of my hats will fit me. No. Well, this one seems to wobble about rather less than the others. And now I'm off. Oh, by the by, bouncer, I wish to know how it is that I frequently find my apartment full of smoke.
Why, I suppose the chimney.
The chimney does not smoke tobacco. I am speaking of tobacco smoke. How is that?
Why, I suppose... Oh, yes, that must be it.
At present, I am entirely of your opinion, because I haven't the most distant particle of an idea what you mean.
Why, the gentleman who has got the attics is hardly ever without a pipe in his mouth. And there he sits for hours and puffs away into the fireplace. Puff, puff.
And then you mean to say that this gentleman's smoke, instead of emulating the example of all other sorts of smoke and going up the chimney, thinks proper to effect a singularity by taking the contrary direction?
Why?
This gentleman is, I suppose, the same individual that I invariably meet coming upstairs while I am going down and going downstairs while I am coming up.
Why, yes.
From the appearance of his outward man, I should unhesitatingly set him down as a gentleman connected with a printing interest.
Yes, sir. And a respectable young gentleman he is. Good morning, Colonel.
Stay, bouncer, stay. To me it has occurred that now's the time with you to have a word.
What can he mean? I tremble. Ah, I tremble.
Listen.
With pleasure. Yes, I must disguise. Oh.
And 2 are 2, arithmetic explains. Take 1 from 2, and only 1 remains. Take 1 from 1, and as we have been taught, remainder none. That is remainder not. Take 1 from 2, take 1 from 1, take 1 from 1, and as we have been taught, remainder none, that is remainder not. You follow me? I think you can.
I do. Write a plan, write a plan, plan.
Now coals is coals, as sure as eggs is eggs.
Oh, of course, sir.
Coals haven't souls, no more than they have legs. But as you will admit, the case is so. Legs or no legs, my coals contrive to go, contrive to go. But as you will admit, the case is so that legs or no legs, my coals contrive to go, contrive to go.
Well, I should say, or as it seems to me.
Exactly.
Quite so.
Then we both agree.
As we agree. Good day.
I've something more to say. 'Tis not my cause alone.
Why this cruel tone?
What are the things as dear as they to me? Which in my little closet I carefully deposit. In them a sure and gradual loss I see. until the case the poet's words express, small by degrees and beautifully less.
Ah, yes, the case the poet's words express, small by degrees and beautifully less.
Small by degrees and beautifully less.
Ah, beautifully, beautifully, beautifully less.
And now, Sergeant Bouncer, I beg to announce on whate'er occasion as this harvest good, whate'er may my coals ale, these things will my wholesale, my lucifers, candles, tea, sugar, and wood.
Mr. Cox, Mr. Cox, my feelings overpower me. That his lordship, his friendly lordship, should one suspect that Bouncer is
A daughter!
as to who takes your coals, wood and all that. It must have been.
No, no! 'Twas not the cat!
But plan, I'm a military man, from honest I am unharnessed, and I'll bet you a hat I said to the cat in the army's abolished.
Write a plan to the military man, honest I hope, though it doesn't appear, and as to the cat, to the traitorous cat, if it isn't in the army, don't have it here.
Write a plan, 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 I'm a military man.
Write a plan, he's a military man.
I'm a military man.
He's a military man.
Oh, military,
Oh, military man. Write a plan,
he's a military man. Honest I am, but I have no pin. And as to the cat, the treacherous cat,
it isn't in the army and we won't have it here. Write a plan,
I'm a military man.
Write a plan, he's a military man.
I'm a military man.
He's a military man.
Oh, military man.
Oh, military man. Write a plan, he's a military man.
Honest I am, but I have no
Him, and as to the cat, the treacherous cat, it isn't in the army. We won't have it here. Write a plan, he's a military man. He's a military man.
He's gone at last. Oh, I declare I was all a tremble for fear that Mr. Box should come in before Mr. Cox went out. Luckily, they've never met yet, and what's more, they're not very likely to do so. For Mr. Box is hard at work at the newspaper office all night and doesn't come home till the morning. And Mr. Cox, oh, he's busy making hats all day long and doesn't come home till night. So I'm getting double rent for my room. And neither of my lodgers are any the wiser for it. It was a happy thought of mine, that it was. Oh, but I haven't an instant to lose. Oh, dear. Oh, first of all, to put Mr. Cox's things out of Mr. Box's way. There. Now then to put the key where Mr. Cox always finds it. There we go. We're now to make the bed. Oh, and don't let me forget that what is the head of the bed for Colonel Cox bed for private box. People's tastes do differ so. Well, the idea of Colonel Cox presuming to complain of such a bolster as that.
Why don't you keep your own side of the staircase, sir? It was as much your fault as mine, sir. I say, sir, it was as much your fault as mine, sir.
Oh, law, Mr. Box, what is the matter?
Mind your own business, Bouncer.
Oh, dear, dear Mr. Box. What a temper you're in, to be sure. I declare, you're quite pale in the face.
What colour would you have a man to be who's been setting up long leaders for a daily paper all night?
Ah, but then you've all day to yourself.
So it seems. Far be it from me, Bouncer, to hurry your movements, but I think it right to acquaint you with my immediate intention of divesting myself of my garments and going to bed.
Oh, certainly, Mr. Box.
Stop! Can you inform me who the individual is that I invariably encounter going downstairs when I'm coming up? And coming upstairs when I'm going down?
Oh, yes. The gentleman in the attic, sir.
Oh. There's nothing particularly remarkable about him, except his hats. I meet him in all sorts of hats. White hats and black hats. Hats with narrow brims and hats with broad brims. Hats with naps. Hats without naps. In short, I've come to the conclusion that he must be individually and professionally associated with the hatting interest.
Oh, yes, sir. And they tell me that's why he took the hattix.
Oh.
Oh, by the by, Mr. Box, he begged me to request of you as a particular favor that you would not smoke quite so much.
Did he? Yes. Then you may tell the gentle hatter, with my compliments, that if he objects to the effluvia of tobacco, he had better domesticate himself in some adjoining parish.
Oh, you surely wouldn't deprive me of a lodger.
It would come to precisely the same thing, Bouncer, because if I detect the slightest attempt to put my pipe out, I at once give you warning that I shall give you warning at once.
Very well, Mr. Box. Do you want anything more of me?
On the contrary, I've had quite enough of you.
Well, if ever.
But there's one evolution I should much like to see you perform.
What's that?
Right, about face, quick march! It's extraordinary the trouble I always have to get rid of that venerable warrior. He knows I'm up all night, yet he seems to set his face against my indulging in a horizontal position by day. Now, let me see. Shall I take my nap before I swallow my breakfast? Or shall I take my breakfast before I swallow my nap? I mean, shall I swallow my nap before I... No, never mind. I've got a rasher of bacon here somewhere. I have the most distinct and vivid recollection of having purchased a rasher of bacon. Here it is. And a penny roll. Next thing is to light the fire. Where are my lucifers? On my life. This is too bad a Bouncer. This is by several degrees too bad. I had a whole box full 3 days ago, and there's only one. I'm perfectly aware that he purloins my coals, and my candles, and my sugar, but I did think... Oh, yes, I did think that my lucifers would be sacred. Bouncer has been using my gridiron. The last article of consumption I cooked upon it was a pork chop. Now it is powerfully impregnated with the odor of... red herrings. How sleepy I am, to be sure. I'd indulge myself in a nap if there was anybody here to superintend the turning of my bacon. Perhaps it will turn itself. Hushed is the bacon on the grid. I'll take a nap and close my eye. Soon shall I be nodding, nodding, nid, nid, nodding, 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 singing lullaby, 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 la 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 lullaby. Hush my bacon on the cold top till I awaken. There you will stop. Hush my bacon on the cold top. Lullaby, lullaby, lullaby. Sleep, gentle bacon, smoke amid, which circling up smiles on the fry, while I am nodding, nodding, nid, nid, nodding, 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 singing lullaby, 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 la 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 lullaby. Hush my bacon on the cold top till I awaken. There you will stop. Hush my bacon on the cold top. Lullaby, lullaby, lullaby.
My master is punctual, always in business. Unpunctuality, even slight, is in his eyes. Such a climate on showing my phiz in his shop. I thought there'd be the devil to pay. Shop, I thought there'd be the devil to pay. My aged employer with his physiognomy shining from soap like a star in astronomy said, Mr. Cox, you're obliged to be on me. If you will take this as your holiday, if you will take this as your holiday. Visions of Brighton and back end of Rossville, cheap fair excursions already in the squash. I feel fearing the rain. Put on my Macintosh, I will. Now for my breakfast, my light dish of made. Now for my breakfast, my light dish of made. I bought a mutton chop, so I shan't want any dinner. Good gracious, I forgot the bread. Hello? What's this? A roll, I declare. Come, that's lucky. Now then to light the fire. Hello? Who presumes to touch my box of lucifers? It's empty. I left one in it, I'll take my oath I did. Heyday. Why, the fire is lighted, I declare. And where's the gridiron on the fire? What's that in it? Bacon? Bacon it is. Oh, well now, upon my life, there's a quiet coolness about Bouncer's proceedings that's almost amusing. He takes my last lucifer, my coals, and my gridiron to cook his breakfast by. Oh, no, I can't stand this. Come on with that. I may as well lay my breakfast things.
Come in! Oh, if it's you, Bouncer, you needn't be afraid. I wonder how long I've been asleep. Goodness gracious, my bacon. Hello, what's this? A chop? Whose chop? Bouncer's, I'll be bound. He thought to cook his breakfast while I was asleep. With my coals, too, and my gridiron. Ha ha! Where's my bacon? Here it is. On my life, Bouncer's go in it. Shall I curb my indignation? Shall I falter in my vengeance? No!
Al, what you guys doing up there?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It was an accident. So much for Bouncer's breakfast. And now for my own. May as well lay my breakfast things.
Come in! Come in! Come! Oh, goodness, my chop! What's this? The bacon again! Oh! Pooh! Confound it! Zoons! That's it! Damn it! Ah!
That's the second time you've done that.
You'll excuse me, sir, that is not the second time I've done that! Who are you, sir? Tell me who.
If it comes to that, sir, who are you?
Who are you, sir?
What's that to you, sir?
What's that to who, sir?
Who, sir? You,
Who
sir?
are you, sir?
Who are you, sir?
Tell me who, sir?
Tell me who, sir?
Who are you,
Who are you,
Tell me,
sir?
who are you, sir? Tell me,
Who are you, sir?
Yes, 'tis the printer.
Yes, 'tis the hatter. Yes, 'tis the hatter.
Printer, printer, take a hinter, leave the room, or else shall I vainly struggle with the fire, with the raging fierce desire to do you an injury,
Hatter, hatter, cease your clatter, leave the room, or else shall I vainly struggle with the fire, with the raging fierce desire to do you an injury, seizure pattern.
Printer,
Hatter, seizure pattern, go. Hatter, seizure pattern, hatter, seizure pattern, hatter, take a hit, hatter, seizure pattern, go. Hatter, seizure pattern, hatter, seizure pattern, hatter, take a hit, hatter, seizure pattern, go. Hatter, seizure pattern, hatter, seizure pattern, go. What are you doing in my room?
Your room, if on that you're bent. Here is my receipt for rent.
Your receipt is very fine. If you come to that, sir. If you come to that, sir. Here is my murder.
Bouncer, I can settle the hatter, turn up the man.
Bouncer,
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 bouncer.
Rat-a-plan, 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 rat-a-plan.
What do you mean by singing rat-a-plan, sir?
What do you mean by singing rat-a-plan, sir?
I mean nothing, sir.
So do I, sir.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
Instantly remove that hatter!
Immediately turn out that printer!
Well, but gentlemen.
Explain, whose room is this?
Yes, whose room is this?
Doesn't it belong to me?
No.
There, you hear, sir, it belongs to me.
No. It belongs to both of you.
Both of us?
Oh, yes. Gents, don't be angry. But you see, this gentleman only being at home in the daytime, and that gentleman only at night, well, I thought I might venture until my little back second floor room was ready.
When will your little back second floor room be ready?
Why, tomorrow.
I'll take it.
So will I.
Excuse me, but if you both take it, you may just as well stop where you are.
True. I spoke first, sir.
With all my heart, sir. The little back second floor room is yours, sir. Now go!
Go?
No, don't quarrel, gentlemen. You see, there used to be a partition here.
Then put it up!
Nay, I'll see if I can't get the other room ready this very day. Now, gents and officers, don't fight, but keep your tempers.
What a disgusting position.
Will you allow me to observe? If you have not had any exercise today, you had better go out and take it.
I shall do nothing of the sort, sir.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir. However, don't let me prevent you from going out.
Don't flatter yourself, sir. Hello! That's my role, sir.
What are you about, sir?
What am I about? I'm about to smoke.
Oh!
Close that window, sir!
Then put your pipe out, sir.
There!
There.
I shall retire to my pillow.
I beg your pardon, sir. I can't allow anybody to rumple my bed.
Your bed? Hark ye, sir. Can you fight?
No.
No. Then come on!
Sit down, sir. Oh, I shall instantly vociferate to police.
I say, sir,
Well, sir.
although we are doomed to occupy the same room for a few hours longer, I don't see any necessity for our cutting each other's throats, sir.
Nor do I. It's an operation I should decidedly object to.
And after all, I've no violent animosity against you, sir.
Nor I any rooted antipathy to you, sir.
Besides, it was all Bouncer's fault.
Oh, entirely, sir.
Very well,
Very well, sir.
Take a bit of roll, sir.
Why, thank you, sir.
Do you sing, sir?
I sometimes dabble in a serenade.
Then dabble away.
The buttercup dwells on the lowly mead. The daisy is bright to see. But brighter far are the eyes that read the thoughts in the heart of me. I come by night, I come by day, I come in the morn to sing my lay. I know my notes, I count each bar, and I've learnt a tune on the gay guitar.
Fiddle, diddle, dum.
Fiddle, diddle, dum.
Fiddle, diddle, dum.
Fiddle, diddle, 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 dum. Fiddle, diddle, dum. Fiddle, diddle, dum. Fiddle, diddle, dum. Fiddle,
I
diddle, dum.
come by night, I come by day, I come in the morn to sing my lay. I know my notes, I count each bar, and I've heard what you know the on the gay guitar. The floweret shines on the minaret fair, the dahlia waves in the breeze, the cockchafer sighs in the midnight air, the dicky bird sings in the trees. I come by night, I come by day, I never can stay away. If you the guitar can sweetly do, I play on the concertina, the Fiddle, diddle, dum.
Fiddle, diddle, dum.
Fiddle, diddle, 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 dum.
Fiddle, diddle, dum. Fiddle, diddle, dum. Fiddle, diddle, dum. Fiddle,
I
diddle,
come
dum. Fiddle,
by
diddle,
night,
dum.
I
Fiddle,
come
diddle,
by
dum.
day, I
Fiddle,
come
dum.
in
Fiddle,
the
diddle,
morn
dum.
to
Fiddle,
sing
diddle,
my
dum.
lay.
Fiddle,
I
diddle,
know
dum. Fiddle,
my
diddle,
notes,
dum. Fiddle,
I
diddle,
count
dum.
each
Fiddle,
bar,
diddle,
and I
dum.
learn
Fiddle,
a I learned a tune on the gay guitar. Have you read this month's Bradshaw, sir?
No, sir. My wife wouldn't let me.
Your wife?
That is my intended wife.
It's the same thing. I congratulate you.
Oh, you needn't disturb yourself, sir. She won't come here.
Oh, I understand. You've got a snug little establishment here of your own, on the sly, cunning dog.
No such thing, sir. I repeat, sir, no such thing, sir. But my wife, I mean my intended wife, happens to be the proprietor of a considerable number of bathing machines
Where?
at a favorite watering place. How curious you are.
Not at all. Well,
Well, consequently, during the bathing season, which thankfully is rather a long one, we see but little of each other. But as that is now over, I am daily indulging in the expectation of being blessed by the sight of my beloved. Are you married, sir?
me? Why, not exactly.
Ah, happy bachelor.
Why, not precisely.
Oh, a widower.
No, not absolutely.
You'll excuse me, sir, but at present I don't see how you can help being one of the three.
Not help it?
No, sir, not you nor any other man alive.
Ha, that may be, but I'm not alive.
You'll excuse me, sir, but I don't like joking upon such subjects.
But I'm perfectly serious, sir. I've been defunct for the last 3 years.
Will you be quiet, sir?
If you won't believe me, I'll refer you to a very large, numerous, and respectable circle of disconsolate friends.
My very dear sir! My very dear sir, if there does exist any ingenious contrivance whereby a man on the eve of committing matrimony can leave this world and yet stop in it, I shouldn't be sorry to know it.
Then I presume I'm not to set you down as being frantically attached to your intended.
Why, not exactly. And yet, at present, I'm only aware of one obstacle to my doting upon her, and that is I can't abide her.
Then there's nothing more easy. Do as I did.
I will. What is it?
Drown yourself!
Will you be quiet, sir?
Listen. Not long ago it was my fate to captivate a widow at Ramsgate.
It is odd to state the same at Margate did. Oh,
By her not liking to be kissed, I thought I'd better try to. In the lifeguards of blues and lists,
how odd, and so did I too.
I was not tall enough, they said.
Too short, they said of me.
The infantry I entered,
And I the infantry.
my widow offered to purchase my discharge from the marching line. Oh,
That's odd, coincidentally, the very same did mine. Oh,
I hesitated to consent. For my consent she waited. I gave it.
I in mine I went, and never hesitated.
The happy day came near at length. We hoped it would be sunny. I found I needed all my strength to face the ceremony. I suddenly found out I was unworthy to possess her. I told her so at once because I feared it might distress her. Before the words were out of my mouth, there came from the north and flew to the south a something that came unpleasantly near, clattering, spattering, battering, shattering, dashing, clashing, smashing, flashing, crashing, clashing, whizzing and whizzing right past my ear. It shattered itself on the mantelpiece. What?
What was it?
A tremble! The basin called slop. It fell at my feet, it would have put the back of a man who was ever so meek up. Being thus baited, I retaliated and hurled at my widow a crockery teacup.
Between you then, there was a fraction,
and I was threatened with an action.
Oh, ciel! Oh, proceed.
One morn, when I had finished my ablution, I took
A walk.
no, sir, a resolution. Friends or foes, none suppose, nobody knows what I does. I tie up my clothes, my shirt and my hose, my socks for my toes, my linen for nose. I think of my woes, and under the rose I packed up my bundle, and off I goes.
I see you left in a tiff.
Listen, I solemnly walked to the cliff, and singing a sort of a dulcet dirge, put down my bundle upon the verge, heard the wild seagull's mournful cry, looked all around, there was nobody nigh, none but I on the cliff so high, and all save the sea was bare and dry. And I took one look at the waves below, and I raised my hands in an agony throw, and I stood on the edge of the rock so steep, and I gazed like a maniac on the deep. I cried, farewell, farewell to earth, farewell, farewell to the land of my birth, farewell, farewell to my only love, to the sea below and the sky above. With a glance at the sea of wild despair, I cried, I come. My bundle lay there. At the edge, where the Coast Guard's way was chalked. Then away! In the opposite way I walked.
What a clever man, what a capital plan. I listen with attention. I think that I should like to try your wonderful invention. What a clever man, what a capital plan. I listen with attention. I think that I should like not try your wonderful invention. Dear me, I think I begin to have some slight perception of your meaning. Ingenious creature, you disappeared, and the suit of clothes was found.
Exactly. And in one of the pockets of the coat or the waistcoat or the pantaloons, I forget which, there was found a piece of paper with these affecting farewell words. This is thy work, O Penelope Ann.
Penelope Ann. Penelope Ann,
Penelope Ann.
originally widow of William Wiggins.
Widow of William Wiggins.
Proprietor of bathing machines.
Proprietor of bathing machines.
At Margate!
Ramsgate.
It must be she. And you, sir, you are Box. The lamented long-lost Box.
I am.
And I was about to marry the interesting creature you so cruelly deceived.
Ah, then you are Cox.
I am.
I heard of it. I congratulate you. I give you joy. Now I think I'll go and take a stroll.
No, you don't. I'll not lose sight of you till I restore you to the arms of your intended.
My intended? You mean your intended?
No, sir, yours.
How can she be my intended now that I'm drowned?
You're no such thing, sir. And I prefer presenting you to Penelope Ann. Permit me then to follow the generous impulse of my nature. I give her up to you.
Benevolent being, I wouldn't rob you for the world. Good morning.
Stop!
Unhand me, Hatter, or I shall cast off the lamb and assume the lion.
Pooh-pooh! Pooh!
An insult to my very face, under my very nose. You know the consequences, sir. Instant satisfaction, sir.
With all my heart, sir! Bouncer!
Pistols for two!
Yes, sir.
Stop! You don't mean to say, thoughtless and misguided militiamen, that you keep loaded firearms in the house?
Oh, no, they're not loaded.
Then produce the murderous weapons instantly.
I say, sir.
Well, sir,
What's your opinion of dueling, sir?
I think it a barbarous practice, sir.
So do I, sir. To be sure, I don't so much object to it when the pistols are not loaded.
No, I dare say that does make some difference.
And yet, sir, on the other hand, doesn't it strike you as rather a waste of time for two people to keep firing pistols at one another with nothing in them?
No more than any other harmless recreation.
Hark ye, why do you object to marry Penelope Ann?
Because, as I've already observed, I can't abide her. You'll be happy with her.
Happy? Me, with the consciousness that I have deprived you of such a treasure? No, no, Cox.
And don't think of me, Box. I shall be sufficiently rewarded with the knowledge of my Box's happiness.
Don't be absurd, sir.
And then don't you be ridiculous, sir.
I won't have it.
No more will I.
I have it. Suppose we draw lots for the lady, eh, Mr. Cox?
That's fair enough, Mr. Box.
Or what do you say to dice?
Dice? Dice by all means.
That's lucky. Bounce's nephew left a pair here yesterday. He sometimes persuades me to have a throw for a trifle, and as he always throws sixes, I suspect they are good ones.
I've no objection at all to dice. I lost £1.17 and sixpence at last Barnet races to a very gentlemanly-looking man who had the most peculiar knack of throwing sixes. I suspected they were loaded, so I gave him another half-crown and he gave me the dice.
Now then, sir.
Will you lead off, sir?
As you please, sir.
Very well,
The lowest throw, of course, wins Penelope Ann.
Of course, sir.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
Sixes.
That's a good throw for you. Sixes.
That's not a bad one, too. Sixes.
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 Very good dice.
You're so nice.
Suppose we arrange, if it suits you, to change.
Oh, very well, that I will do, to please a gentleman such as you.
Sixes.
Sixes.
sixes?
Sixes. Oh, this is absurd. I never have heard of such wonderful throws as I've seen with those. Oh, this is absurd. I never have heard of such wonderful throws as I've seen with those. Sixes, sixes, looks like trickses. Sixes, sixes, looks like trickses. With such a pole as nobody can ever settle the case of Penelope Ann. With such a pole as nobody can ever settle the case of Penelope Ann. Oh, Penelope, Penelope, Ann.
It's perfectly absurd you're going on throwing sixes in this sort of way.
I shall continue until my luck changes.
I have it. Suppose we toss for the lady.
With all my heart, sir. Where's my tossing sixpence?
Where's my lucky shilling?
Where's my tossing sixpence?
Now then, sir, heads win.
Or tails loses, whichever you prefer.
It's all the same to me, sir.
Very well then, sir. Heads I win, tails you lose.
Yes. No, heads win, sir.
Very well, sir.
Head.
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 Couldn't you say something else instead?
Head.
Head.
I wish an occasional tail you'd try.
Head.
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 I nail your sixpence. Hollow, it's got no tail. I've a mind to pitch you out on the leads.
Your shilling, I find, has got 2 heads. You swindler, you cheat, take care of my feet. Out of my room, throw it into the street. Turn me out, try it, that is if you can. Swindler, cheat, vagabond, swindler, cheat. You swindler, cheat, vagabond, swindler, cheat, vagabond, bouncer!
What a plan, what a plan, what a plan, what a plan, what a plan.
What a plan, 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 what a plan,
Is the little back second floor room ready?
Not quite, gentlemen. I can't find the pistols. Oh, but I have brought you a letter. It came by the general post yesterday. I'm sure I don't know how I came to forget it, for I put it carefully in my pocket.
And you kept it carefully in your pocket ever since?
Yes, sir. I hope you'll forgive me. By the by, I paid 2p for it.
Did you? And then I do forgive you. Margate? The postmark decided this as Margate.
Doubtless a tender epistle from Penelope Ann.
Then read it, sir.
Me, sir?
You don't suppose I'm going to read a letter from your intended?
My intended? Pooh! It's addressed to you. C-O-X.
Do you think that's a C? Looks to me like a B.
Nonsense. Fracture the seal.
Goodness gracious.
Gracious goodness.
Margate, May the 4th. Sir, I hasten to convey to you the intelligence of a melancholy accident which has bereft you of your intended wife. He means your intended wife.
No, yours. But it's perfectly immaterial. Go on.
The poor Mrs. Wiggins went for a short excursion in a sailing boat. A sudden and violent squall soon after took place, which it is supposed upset her, as she was found 2 days afterward, keel upwards.
Poor woman.
The boat, sir. As her man of business, I immediately proceeded to examine her papers, amongst which I soon discovered her will, the following extract from which will, I have no doubt, be satisfactory to you. I hereby bequeath my entire property to my intended husband. Oh, excellent, but unhappy creature.
Generous, ill-fated being.
When I think that I tossed up for such a woman.
When I remember that I staked such a treasure on the hazard of a die.
Mr. Box, I'm sure I can't thank you enough for your sympathy.
And I'm sure, Mr. Cox, that you couldn't feel more if she had been your own intended.
If she had been my own intended, she was my own intended.
Your intended? Come, I like that. Didn't you very properly observe just now that I proposed to her first?
To which you very sensibly replied, you'd come to an untimely end.
I deny it.
I say you have.
The fortune's mine.
Mine.
I'll have
So
it.
will I.
I'll go to law.
So will I.
Stop. A sudden thought strikes me. Instead of going to law over the property, suppose we divide it.
Equally.
Equally. I'll take 2/3.
That's fair enough. I'll take 3/4.
That won't do. Half and half.
Agreed. There's my hand upon it.
And mine.
Postman again.
Postman yesterday, postman today.
Oh, another letter, Colonel Cox. Tuppence more.
I forgive you again. Another trifle from Margate. Goodness gracious!
Gracious goodness.
Sir, the happy to inform you.
False alarm! Sudden squall, boat upset. Mrs. Wiggins, your intended.
Picked up my steamboat.
Carried into balloon.
Returned here this morning.
We'll start by early train tomorrow.
I'll be with you at 10 o'clock exact.
Cox, I congratulate you.
Box, I give you joy.
I'm very sorry, but most important business at the Colonial Office will prevent my witnessing the most happy meeting between you and your intended.
It's obviously for me to retire, and not for worlds would I disturb the rapturous meeting between you and your intended.
You'll excuse me, sir. You'll excuse me, sir. But our last arrangement was that she was your intended.
No, sir, yours.
Yours. Oh, what's that? A cab's gone up the door. No, it's a twopenny omnibus.
A lady's got out.
There's no mistaking that majestic person. It's Penelope Ann.
Your intended.
No, yours.
Yours.
No. She's coming upstairs.
Shut the door.
Colonel!
I just stepped out.
So have I.
Mr. Cox! Open the door! It's only me, Sergeant Bolter!
Only you? Then where's the lady?
Gone!
Upon your honor?
As a militiaman.
Yes, sir! And she's left a note for Brigadier Cox!
Then give it to me.
Then open the door!
Put it under. Goodness gracious!
Gracious goodness.
Dear Mr. Cox, pardon my candor.
But being convinced that our feelings, like our ages, do not reciprocate.
I hasten to apprise you of my immediate union with
Mr. Knox!
Huzzah!
3 cheers for Knox!
And the little second floor back room is quite ready.
Oh, I don't want it.
No more do I.
What shall part us?
What shall tear us asunder?
Cox!
You'll excuse the apparent insanity of the remark, but the more I gaze on your features, the more I'm convinced you're my long-lost brother.
The very observation I was going to make to you.
Tell me, in mercy, tell me, have you such a thing as a strawberry mark on your left arm?
No.
Then it is he!
Stop where we are!
Of course!
For between you and me, I'm rather partial to this house.
So am I. I come to feel quite at home in it.
Everything's so clean and comfortable.
And the master of it, from what I have seen of him, is very anxious to please.
So he is. And I vote, Box, that we stick by him.
Agreed. My hand upon it, join but yours. Agreed, the house will hold us.
And two good lodgers, bouncer gets here in his arms and fold us.
Oh, yes, yes, to arms, and was alarms. You remember, of course, when I mounted a horse in Her Majesty's horse, as one of the yeomen who cope with the bowmen, for then an invasion threatened the nation.
And there's no occasion to sing. Rataplan, 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 plan, 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 plan. Oh, rataplan, Penelope Ann has married another respectable man. 3 cheers for Knox, who lives at the docks, and may he live happily if he can. Rataplan, 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 plan, 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 plan. Oh, rataplan, Penelope Ann has married another respectable man. 3 cheers for Knox, who lives at the docks, and may he live happily if he can. Rataplan, 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 rataplan.
Thank you very much for staying for the second half of our program, Cox Box. Unfortunately, this is the last performance of this particular production. We hope you'll consider joining us, though, for the rest of our season, which continues back at Montgomery Theatre in downtown San Jose with Carousel in spring, and then Gilbert and Sullivan's The Sorcerer, which will be in June. They also wish me to tell you that a set of keys was found in the women's bathroom in the intermission. So if you're missing a set of keys, please check at the information desk on your way out. They probably have them. And now, in keeping with an ongoing lyric theater tradition, we'd like to invite you to stop in the lobby on your way out. We'll be there in a few minutes. We can meet and thank you in person. Good afternoon.